Good morning and welcome, dear students. I am Pooja Rastogi and I am going to take the third class of social science this week. Since Neeta Kumar ma'am was busy with some work, so she could not take up the third class, and she is engaged into that important work for which I am here to revise chapter 1 of geography with you all. So children, chapter 1, which was already taught you by Pallavi ma'am, I am here to discuss some important points of the chapter, and I am going to tell you some basic important questions which carry 1 mark or 3 marks, which are definitely going to come for your examinations. So before moving further, let us just quickly have a recap of the important points which we discussed in the chapter 1, and you have been explained by Pallavi ma'am very well. So let us just go through the chapter 1, which says India, size and location. Now children, as we all know, the country which we are living in is India, and India is one of the ancient civilizations. Children, India is one of the ancient civilizations in the world. Out of all the civilizations in the world, India is considered to have the ancient civilizations. Plus, number 2, it has achieved multifaceted socio-economic progress during the last 5 decades. Here, multifaceted means which has many dimensions of socio-economic, the clubbing, the diffusion, the togetherness of social factors and economic factors which made India progress during the last 5 decades. Decades here talks about 50 years. Now it has moved forward to display that remarkable progress in the field of agriculture, industry, technology and overall economic development. India has contributed significantly. So over the last 5 decades, for example, the 50 years, since the last 50 years, India has made so much of progress, children, in these different fields like agriculture, industry, technology and overall economic development. After this brief introduction, let us quickly see which points we will be covering for revision in this chapter. Number 1, which says India's location. Then number 2, we will be covering India's size. Third, India and the world, the connectivity of India with different countries of the world. And the last point we are going to cover is its neighbors. Let's begin with location. Yes, children, I know you all know the answer. India lies entirely in the northern hemisphere. We all know equator, an imaginary line which divides the earth into 2 equal halves. This is equator, which is having 0 degree latitudinal value, and it divides the earth into 2 equal parts or the 2 equal halves, which is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So India lies entirely in the northern hemisphere. Now let us see the location of India. It lies between latitudes 8 degree 4th north and 37 degrees 6 north, and longitudes 68 degrees 7 east and 97 degrees 25 east longitudes. So this is the location of India. That is, for latitudes 8 degrees 4 north and 37 degrees 6 north. The longitudes is 68 degrees 7 east and 97 degrees 25 east. Second point for location. Divided by, India is divided by Tropic of Cancer. Again, the angular value of Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degrees north, which cuts India into almost 2 equal parts. Do not get confused with the 2 equal halves again, which is being repeated. First, equator divides the earth into 2 equal halves. Then India is divided by the latitude, which is Tropic of Cancer, and the angular value is 23.5 degrees north, and it divides India into 2 equal parts. Then in southeast, children, there lies Andaman and Nicobar Islands, in Bay of Bengal, plus in southwest we have Lakshadweep Islands which lie in the Arabian Sea. After that, the total area of India is 3.28 million square kilometers, and out of the total land percentage covered by countries of the world, India holds 2.4% of the total area of the world. Next important point to remember and learn is India is the 7th largest country in the world in terms of landmass. So children, India is 7th largest country in the world. Then children, India has land boundary. If you total the land boundary of India, it has 15,200 kilometers, and the total length of its coastline of the mainland of India, it is 7,05,116.6 kilometers. So after this children, in the northwest, north and northeast of India, northwest, northeast and the north of India, we have the major physiographic division which is Youngfold Mountains, and the name is correct, the Himalayas, the Great Indian Himalayas. Alright. Now, south of about 22 degree north latitude, India narrows and finally extends towards the Indian Ocean. It also divides it into two seas, Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. Arabian Sea is towards the western side and Bay of Bengal is towards the eastern side. Now children, we will cover latitudinal and longitudinal extent. The extent means the total stretch of the country. Firstly, we discuss where does India lie. So for locating any place, we need to have longitudes and latitudes. Thus, we discuss the location of India. Now we will discuss the latitudinal. Latitudes are the horizontal lines. So latitudinal extent, stretch of India in terms of latitudes, and longitudinal extent, which are long lines. Longitudinal extent means how wide India is. Latitudinal extent means how long area India covers. So extent, the total stretch of India. The latitudinal and longitudinal extent of the mainland is about 30 degrees. India's east-west extent appears to be smaller than the north and south extent. It means eastern side and western side. If you talk about Gujarat and towards the Arunachal Pradesh, this stretch, eastern and western stretch, appears to be smaller than north and south stretch, which is Kashmir and Kanyakumari, children. Alright, so from north to south stretch appears to be bigger than the eastern and western stretch. Alright, now let us discuss the standard meridian of India. The standard meridian, as the name indicates, standardized meridian. Out of all the longitudes we have decided one longitude to be the standard meridian for correcting the confusion of different time, as India has a time lag of 2 hours if you travel from east to west. So to correct that time confusion, we have decided one standard meridian of India. Standard meridian of India is 82.5 degrees east, which passes through Mirzapur in UP. Point to be noted and underlined, children, as this holds utmost importance. As and on you will be proceeding further with higher classes, you will keep on getting this answer everywhere, children. It is not just about social studies. You need to know these specific things and they have to be on your fingertips. Okay, what is standard meridian of India? You need to be very quick in answering that it is 82.5 degrees, the 82.5 degrees east. Alright, so it passes through Mirzapur in UP. Please remember the angular value. It can be written two ways. 82 degrees 30 minutes sign east. 82 degrees 30 east. And it can be written 82.5 degrees east. Take care of the degrees. Take care of the extent, the zone, that is eastern longitude or the western longitude. So east, India lies in the eastern hemisphere. So we should know that if we are talking about longitudes, we all need to have this assurance in mind. Since India lies in the eastern hemisphere, all the longitudes crossing India have to be east. So these are simple tricks and tips which have to be kept in mind, so that while you are answering your questions, you are good to go, right? Then the time gap between Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat is about 2 hours, as I have already told you. Therefore, we can have the difference of influences of the duration of day and night as the earth moves from west to east. Children, as the earth moves from west to east, obviously the westernmost part of India is Arunachal Pradesh and the easternmost part is Gujarat. Now I ask you a question: which part faces the sunlight first? When it is night in India and the earth rotates from west to east, which part receives the sunlight first? Yes, the answer is correct. The western part, which is the Arunachal Pradesh. So as in on, the earth is rotating gradually from Arunachal Pradesh towards slighter previous sections are going to get the sunlight. So in total, when India is covering this phase, it has a time lag of 2 hours. So to avoid this confusion, we have decided one standard meridian, that is 82.5 degrees east. Now, let's cover the third topic, India and the world. Now, India is located in the center of the world between East and West Asia. So, the routes across the Indian Ocean which connect the countries of Europe in the West, the countries in the East Asia, they provide good strategic positions. Strategic location, position means they are beneficial for the trade and commerce. So it provides a good platform for trade. Then the Deccan Peninsula, which helps India to establish close contact between West Asia, Africa and Europe from the western coast, and with Southeast and East Asia from the eastern coasts. Now these are just 3 important points which you need to learn. Number 1, India's routes which connect India with Europe in the west and countries in the East Asia provide a good strategic central location. Second, Deccan Plateau gives a good base to connect with different countries of Europe from the western coast and East Asia from the southeastern coast. Right, 2 points. First, strategic position. Second, Deccan Peninsula, eastern coast, western coast. And third, the ocean which is south of India, given name on the name of the country India, is Indian Ocean. And it has a long coastline which has favorable conditions to trade and commerce. So just 3 things. Number 1, its trade routes. Number 2, Deccan Peninsula, from the 2 coasts it connects. And the third, the Indian Ocean, which gives a good connectivity with different countries for trade and commerce. Children, by learning the chapter, if you take a note of the keywords, and then you are good to go in learning those points, and you can write very well in your own words in your exams. Right, children? So just 3 points for India and the world, and you have the answers ready. Number 1, India connects with trade routes. Number 2, the Deccan Peninsula. Just remember the keywords: Deccan Peninsula, eastern coast, western coast, which is connecting the western coast with Southeast and Eastern Asia. So, like this, you will just remember the keywords and you can explain in your own words. Now, children, along with this, India's land routes are much older than sea routes, since we know that India was the center of attraction for different trading companies, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the East India Company. All these trading companies targeted India to explore and exploit our natural resources. Therefore, our trade routes have been in the past through years even older than these sea routes. Right, children? Then the land routes helped India in exchange of ideas and commodities since ancient times. Then it also has the influence of Greek sculpture and the architectural styles of domes and minarets from West Asia, which can be seen in different parts of India. So, when people come for trading, obviously they leave some cultural impact. Because of those cultural impact, we have seen different architectural styles, we have different sculptures which can be still seen in our country. And the last point to cover, India and its neighbors. Children, very important point. India connects, though earlier it was 29 states and 7 union territories, but now we have 28 states and 9 union territories. Number one question as a homework for you, name the 2 union territories which have been included now and which state is now excluded, because of which India has to be known as 28 states, right? So question for you which you are going to answer in today's class. You have to answer the state which is excluded and the 2 union territories which are added. I know I have asked many of you in class 8th A and B last year, but again, since this is the topic for everybody in class 9th, I need to know your answers, how well updated you people are, right? Now, let's see to how many countries India connects with. We have in the northwest, beginning with the top, northwest, we have Pakistan, Afghanistan. In the north, we have China, Nepal, Bhutan. In the east, we have Myanmar and Bangladesh. And in the south, we have Sri Lanka and Maldives. So, in total, we have 2 plus 2, 4, then 3, 7, 8 and 9. 9 countries. Beginning from northwest again, Pakistan, Afghanistan 2, then China, Nepal and Bhutan 5, Myanmar, Bangladesh 7, Sri Lanka and Maldives makes 9. Right? Now, Sri Lanka is separated from India. Second important question, many times it can be asked. It is a general, very important question. Note it down. Through what India is separated by Sri Lanka, or Sri Lanka is separated by India by a narrow channel of sea dash. You have to name it quickly, which is Palk Strait. P-A-L-K, Palk Strait, S-T-R-A-I-T. Again, very important question, you need to note it down. Next, Maldives Islands are situated to the south of Lakshadweep Islands. Seeing this content of video, you need to have your PDF or your book also. Quickly go through the map so that you can quickly have a glance. So it is Maldives is located south of Lakshadweep Islands. Then a peninsula is a piece of land that is bordered by water from 3 sides but is connected to the mainland on one side. Again, 1 mark question, define a peninsula. So a peninsula is a piece of land which is bordered by water on 3 sides and is connected by the mainland from one side, right? So you need to recall the definition. What is a peninsula? Just 2 points to remember, which is bordered by water from 3 sides and connected by mainland from one side, right? Now, children, some factual points. For example, the southernmost point of Indian Union is known as Indira Point, which is submerged under the sea water in 2004 during tsunami. Then children, since the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, India's distance from Europe has been reduced by 7,000 kilometers. Again, important point which is often been asked. Number 2, through how many kilometers? Because of Suez Canal, India's distance with Europe is shortened, 7,000 kilometers. Right? So, which was the southernmost point which is now submerged in seawater? Indira Point. All these points you need to note down. Now, after this, again, one important point I would like to highlight. India is well known for its cultural heritage, commercial heritage, and home to some of the oldest civilizations in the world. Number one example to this is Indus Valley civilizations, right, children? So, with this, children, I bring an end to this revision of the chapter, and after this, children, I would like to ask you to go through the important questions which I am attaching to it. Alright, and you need to know the answers, and please note them down in your fair registers. Do not ask this question separate copy or a mixed copy. You all know geography and economics have been told by the teachers that one copy for geography and economics and one copy for history and civics. Since I am conducting this social science 2 class, you need to write these important questions, children, in your geography copy. Alright, children. Now I am going to attach with this another set of questions which you need to note down, which I am making you remind again. Please note down all the questions which hold much importance for the content of your syllabus, content or syllabus of your examinations. So they are more oftenly being asked. Kindly note them down and please go through the chapter again. Thank you so much, children. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.